Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something huge. Affects maybe half the people on the planet, yet, well, understanding among partners. Often surprisingly low. We're talking menopause. Specifically, this is for you, the partner, the loved one. How can you be the teammate that's really needed?
Yeah, this is so crucial and aimed squarely at you listening. Because the knowledge gap, it's a real weak spot in so many relationships. We saw this stat, something like 76% of women feel their partner just doesn't have the info, the understanding to really support them.
76%. Wow.
Yeah, and that gap, it turns what's a natural life stage into, well, often a source of real friction, frustration, isolation even.
Okay, so that's our job today. Not medical advice, let's be clear, but clarity. Understanding the biology, the emotions, really strengthening the relationship through that knowledge.
Exactly. Moving from confusion, maybe even resentment, towards support, towards teamwork.
Teamwork, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack it and maybe start with the basics, because the first big mistake is mixing up the whole journey with, like, the final destination.
That's the perfect place to start. Ask anyone. They usually think menopause is just when periods stop. Simple as that.
But technically, it's more specific, isn't it? It's like one day.
Exactly right. Menopause, officially, it's just one single day. It's the date marking 12 months in a row without a period. Usually hits around, what, age 51, 52 typically?
Okay, one day. But the bit that really throws partners, the bit where all the action happens beforehand, that's perimenopause.
Perimenopause.
Yeah.
Meaning around menopause.
Ah.
And that's the long haul. That's the part that really catches people completely off guard.
How long are we talking?
Well, it can kick in way earlier than most people think, sometimes late 30s, early 40s. And it can last, get this, 7 to 10 years before that official menopause date.
7 to 10 years.
So wait, there's more. Symptoms can actually stick around for up to 5 years after that date, too.
Whoa. Okay, so hang on. We're not talking about a few months of feeling a bit off. This whole transition, it could realistically span, what, 12 years? Maybe more?
Easily. 12 years is a good average estimate for the whole disruptive phase. And knowing that, just understanding that time scale, it changes everything about how you approach it as a partner, as a team.
Absolutely. So what's happening during that perimenopause phase? You mentioned periods.
Right. Predictability goes out the window. Our sources called it a guessing game. You might get spotting or suddenly a really heavy flow. Cycles could be 10 days apart or maybe 120 days. It's completely erratic.
Sounds chaotic.
It is. That's why some experts call it the zone of chaos. And the reason? It all boils down to these massive, wild swings in hormone levels.
Okay, hormones. Let's get into that. Because understanding why your partner might feel all over the place, that feels like the key to stopping the relationship taking the hit.
Totally. Think of them as the 3 key players: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Estrogen's kind of the headline act. People think reproduction, but we have estrogen receptors basically everywhere. Brain, immune system.
So when it drops, that's the hot flashes.
That's the classic one, yeah. Hot flashes, night sweats. But it does so much more. Estrogen loss impacts brain function learning, memory, mood regulation, even how the body controls temperature.
Okay, but hang on. Mood swings, anxiety, irritability. People often just write that off as, stress from work, life, kids, being in your 40s or 50s. How do we know it's really chemical?
Ah, that's the critical point, because it explains why she absolutely cannot just snap out of it. Estrogen is deeply involved in regulating brain chemistry. Think neurotransmitters like serotonin, which affects mood, and cortisol, the stress hormone. When estrogen fluctuates wildly, that balance gets completely disrupted.
So the mood swings, the anxiety, even that feeling of rage some women describe, it's biological.
It is fundamentally biological. It's a chemistry thing happening inside her brain and body.
Right. It's not a choice. It's not about you, the partner.
Precisely. There was this one quote, a woman described it as feeling like dementia and puberty had a kid together.
Wow. That paints a picture.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It shows just how unsettling and destabilizing it can feel. And there's another piece with estrogen. It's a powerful anti-inflammatory.
Anti-inflammatory. How does that play out?
Well, when that protection fades, women start getting aches, pains, joint stiffness, things that feel like arthritis but aren't necessarily. Sometimes even serious stuff like frozen shoulder, seemingly out of nowhere.
So that sudden joint pain, it might not just be getting older, it could be the estrogen drop.
Very likely, yes.
Yeah.
It's a loss of that natural chemical protection. Then you've got progesterone.
The calming one?
Yeah, often called the calming hormone. It's vital for good, deep, restorative sleep. So when progesterone declines, sleep goes haywire. She might be exhausted, but Just can't settle, can't get that deep rest.
Which then makes everything worse the next day.
Exactly. Chronic poor sleep ramps up cortisol, feeds anxiety, makes you irritable. It's a vicious cycle.
Okay, so estrogen's fluctuating, causing mood issues and aches. Progesterone's down, causing sleep chaos. What about the third one? Testosterone.
Right. Testosterone levels also decline steadily for women as they age. The big impacts there are usually energy levels tanking, a decrease in muscle mass and bone strength, and often a noticeable drop in libido, in sexual desire.
So you combine the exhaustion, the mood instability, the low energy. It's a perfect storm.
It really is
Yeah.
an immense load, physically and emotionally. And remember, we're talking maybe 34, some sources list even more, distinct symptoms.
And we haven't even properly touched on things like brain fog.
Oh, crucial one. Difficulty concentrating, memory lapses. Partners need to understand this isn't like laziness or not caring. It's real. It's hormonal. It's the brain chemistry literally in flux.
Okay, so if all that is going on inside, it's inevitable the relationship is going to feel it big time. Let's shift there. How does this internal chaos strain the partnership? Because it's clearly not just a woman's issue.
No, it hits the relationship hard. And the stats here are pretty sobering. We mentioned earlier some data points to maybe 60% of divorces being initiated during this life stage.
60%, that's huge. It really underlines why partners need to tune in.
Absolutely. It's not random. It reflects the fallout when symptoms aren't managed. When the reality isn't understood or supported, it often leads to this really painful cycle.
The rejection cycle.
Yeah, the partner feels pushed away, rejected, maybe even thinks she hates me or she doesn't desire me anymore. But often, that withdrawal, that anger or frustration, it's aimed at the symptoms, at the feeling of losing control over her own body and mind. It's not usually a personal attack on the partner.
But it feels personal.
Of course it does, and that's why understanding the why is so vital. Then there are the very real physical barriers to intimacy.
Like the sleep problems we mentioned.
Exactly. Constant insomnia, night sweats. She's just wiped out. One survey found sleep issues impacted intimacy for nearly 40% of the male partners. And then there's pain.
Painful sex.
Yeah, a really common issue. About 2/3 of women experience vaginal dryness and thinning tissues. It's called atrophy after menopause because of lower estrogen. Sex can become genuinely painful. That's a physical barrier, not a lack of love or desire for connection.
Okay. So putting this all together,
Yeah.
what's the message for you, the partner listening? It sounds like this demands a real shift. It has to become a team sport.
That's the perfect phrase, a team sport. So let's talk toolkit. What can you actually do?
Yes, practical steps.
Yeah.
How do we turn this knowledge into real support?
Okay, step one is basically what we've been doing. Get informed, educate yourself. Just knowing the why behind the symptom that the joint ache is hormonal, the mood swing is chemistry, it builds a firewall, it stops you taking it personally.
It helps you respond with empathy instead of defensiveness.
Precisely.
Mhm.
Step two, communication. But it has to be the right kind, non-judgmental, active listening, put your phone down, really listen.
Don't just jump in trying to fix it.
Right. Reflect back what you hear. Like, okay, so it sounds like the lack of sleep is just making everything feel overwhelming. Ask open questions. Tell me more about that. Or what's been the hardest part for you lately?
And using I statements, right?
Yeah.
That's always good advice.
Crucial here, especially for tricky topics like intimacy. Instead of, you never want to have sex anymore, which sounds like an accusation.
Try something like, I feel a bit hurt or confused when I try to initiate and you turn away. Can we talk about what's going on?
Exactly. It opens a door for conversation. Doesn't slam it shut. It focuses on your feelings, invites a shared solution.
Okay. What else is in the toolkit?
Empathy and reassurance. Simple validation goes a long, long way. Wow, that sounds really tough. Or, I can see why you'd feel that way. And reassurance about physical changes is huge.
You mentioned weight shifting.
Yeah, often to the midsection. She might feel really self-conscious, invisible even. Remind her sincerely that you still find her beautiful, that you still love her, that your attraction isn't just about one specific body shape.
That sounds really important. And practical help.
Oh, massive. Especially with the fatigue and brain fog. Partners need to genuinely share the load. Step up with chores, maybe take over managing the family calendar or finances for a bit if she's struggling with focus. Protect her time for rest. That practical stuff, it speaks volumes. It shows you're in it together.
Being ready for the physical symptoms too, like hot flashes.
Absolutely. Have a fan nearby, offer a cool drink, be prepared to adjust the bedroom thermostat. Seriously, some sources mention partners needing to tolerate an ice cube tundra just so she can sleep.
Okay, the tundra approach.
Yeah.
And on intimacy. Even if libido is low or sex is uncomfortable, connection is still key, right?
Vital. Explore other ways to be close. Cuddling, massage, holding hands, just spending quiet time together. And for the dryness issue, encourage trying lubricants or vaginal moisturizers. Don't make it taboo. It's a medical thing.
Maybe even talking about changes in your own body as you age could help.
Hugely helpful. Sharing your own aches, pains, energy shifts. It builds mutual understanding, vulnerability. Makes it less like one person has all the problems.
Okay, this is all great for the partnership, but sometimes the symptoms are just too severe or the strain is too much, even with the best intentions. Let's talk about professional help.
Yes, absolutely necessary sometimes. If symptoms are really debilitating, or if the relationship is just constantly strained despite your efforts, seeking expert care is the next step. Encourage her to see a doctor, GP, gynecologist, or ideally a menopause specialist if you can find one.
And the partner's role there?
Offer to go with her to appointments. Yeah. It's huge moral support. Plus, you both hear the information, understand the treatment plan together. It reinforces that team approach.
What are the main treatment options they might discuss? HRT comes up a lot, often with some baggage.
Right. Hormone replacement therapy, HRT. Look, it's generally considered the most effective treatment for many of the really disruptive symptoms. Hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, and importantly, preventing long-term bone loss, osteoporosis.
But people worry about risks.
There were historical concerns, yes, based on older studies and older types of HRT. But modern types of HRT. For most women struggling with symptoms around menopause, the current thinking is that the benefits significantly outweigh the risks, especially when it started earlier. But crucially, there are non-hormonal options too.
Like what?
Certain antidepressants, other prescription meds can help with hot flashes or mood, and targeted lifestyle changes, diet, specific types of exercise, sleep strategies can make a difference. It's about finding what works for her.
And what if the core issue really feels like the communication breakdown, the relationship patterns themselves?
Then couples counseling or therapy can be incredibly helpful. A therapist can help you both navigate those difficult conversations, break cycles of misunderstanding or rejection, and find new ways to connect and support each other, separate from any medical treatment.
So the big message here is help is available. Suffering, feeling isolated, that's optional.
It really is optional. There are good solutions, good support out there, but sometimes she needs you, her partner, to be the one encouraging her, supporting her, maybe even helping her make that first appointment.
Okay, so wrapping this up. The core takeaway seems clear. Menopause is natural, yes, but suffering through it or letting the relationship suffer, that doesn't have to happen.
Exactly. Knowledge, empathy, teamwork. They can genuinely turn this challenge into something that eventually strengthens the relationship.
The goal isn't to fix her.
No, never. It's about being a truly present, informed, supportive partner. Setting aside your own expectations sometimes, leading with curiosity, with care. That's what helps you both survive and thrive through this.
Survive and thrive. I like that. Okay, here's a final thought, something for you to maybe chew on after listening. We hear that many women actually report feeling, well, happier, more in control, maybe clearer about their boundaries after they navigate the initial storm of menopause.
Yeah, kind of postmenopausal zest, some call it.
Right. So if this transition often forces women to get really clear on what they will and won't put up with anymore, maybe the question for you, the partner, what areas of your shared life might need a bit of reshaping now? What old assumptions or divisions of labor or communication habits need a fresh look to build that stronger, more equitable partnership for all the decades still ahead?